When you get an offer or when you get down to the end, wait, let's back up. When you get down to the end, I'm going to speak in absolute terms here because I mean this in an absolute sense. Never, not ever, do you put any negotiation words in an email. Never, not ever, do you ever leave a voicemail with negotiation words. The only exchanging in the email that should ever be done is, can we talk on the Zoom? Can we pick up the phone? What time should I meet you? Or anything like that. You do not ask questions via email. If the recruiter says, Luther, send me your questions, you say, I'd really like to talk it through. That way I can explain why I want to understand what I want to understand. What do I always say about writing questions? Number one, you don't want to give anybody a to-do. And how? Couple things. Albert Moravian's personal code of communication, 7% of your communication is the words you use. 38% is your tone, 55% body language. So now you have 7% that you have at your disposal. And the way I read your email is not how it sounds in your head. How I woke up that day. Is it sun shining? Am I standing out in the freezing snow? Did my dog pee on my leg? What time of day am I reading it? What kind of mood am I in? And even if you printed that out and read it in your meanest voice, it still could sound worse in my head. Okay, that's number two. Number three, you never get to explain your rationale behind why you're asking a question. If you ask me a question, I'm going to make an assumption about why you want to know what you know, and that's going to be based on what I would want to know if I ask that question. You want to always be able to have the dialogue. What else can't you do? You can't iterate. You can't go round and round. Meaning, is there a way that you can create a path for me to earn an additional $30,000, but I'm open to how you do that? And now if he says, oh, well, 10, 10, and 10, okay? How do you, what are you doing? Going back on the email? Trying to do this? What if there's infinitely many possibilities that would satiate you? So you never want to put anything in writing. Never put any questions in writing. Along the way, if you interview with people and they say, send me your questions, and never send them in writing, ever. You ask for more time. That sending anybody in the interview process questions of any kind, other than what time is the thing and where do I meet you, is one of the biggest, top 3 or 4 biggest sins you can commit. It really is. So Luther, that's a great question. Luther, I received all my job offers from recruiters, and I'm not sure if they discussed my counter offer with the hiring manager. How do you suggest I get the decision maker to negotiate the offer? Love it. Luther, you know what? I already gave you a gift, but if I didn't give you a gift for that last one, I'm going to give you a gift for this one. This is so awesome. Okay, so number one, ideal. You want to be having this discussion with the hiring official. Okay, you want to ask the hiring official the questions. Really, you want to make sure you're going over your grid with the hiring official. Okay, now, some people that I coach, they say, Andy, I got a discussion with the recruiter. The recruiter sent me the offer. Can you and I get together? And I got to meet back with the recruiter. And I always say to them, you want to try to avoid that. You don't want to avoid the recruiter. You want to avoid talking to the recruiter alone or the HR person alone. Now, hold on. I understand that some companies won't let you. So hang on. I'm going to work you through the scenarios. Option number one is don't say, can I just talk to the hiring official? Because you want the recruiter on your side. You want the recruiter to be a champion for you. So what do? What's the one thing we always want to do whenever we would like somebody to help us or do what we'd like them to do? And in this case, you're not being manipulative or mean. You just want to make sure that you're putting yourself in the best position to actually negotiate. So you say to the recruiter, hey, look, I really, really like this opportunity and I want to join. And I'm sure you, like I, want to get this wrapped up as soon as possible, as fast as possible so we can get going. Right? So we can get going. I have some questions, some for you, some for the hiring official, I think. And I think, and especially because they're related to the role. Okay. Is there a way where the three of us could meet on Zoom? That way we can get this all done in one call. Call to action, right? Are you kidding me? What does the recruiter want? I want this checked off my list. I want you here. We already got the offer. I want you to take it. I want you to get in here going, right? I don't want to be like delaying this stuff. Okay, so you want to appeal to that person's sense, all right? And that will work in 90% of the cases, okay? And it also depends on who your hiring official is and all that other stuff, but that's a really good one. Next option. Hiring officials out of the country, hiring officials on vacation, hiring officials on her honeymoon, his honeymoon, whatever. They just want Luther in the door, man. We gave him a good offer. You say, okay, look, I got these questions. Let me ask you. And then what you need to do is you need to explain to the recruiter, okay, boom, 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 some grid items, which I know you might not have, but you might if you get in a boot camp for the extra 100 off. You go through your stuff and you say, okay, look, you give them the counter. You say, look, I want to take this job. I really like you. I love you. I love the hiring official. I just love everybody. I love the color of the paint on the walls, whatever. You goo goo gaga all over it. Then, okay, so here's some of my questions. They're not demands, right? They're questions. And you're asking and then say, okay, if I'm able to do this, is there a way that you and the hiring official can figure out a way for me to earn this? Then you say to the recruiter, so I've given you my rationale. I want you to know I'm flexible on how you do that. Then the recruiter's going to do one of a couple things. The recruiter's going to say, okay, let me check. A good recruiter would say, okay, let me check. Do you have a preference? Okay. Do you have a preference, Luther, with how we get you the extra 30K? And you're going to say, I'm really open. If pressed, or if you need some guidance on how to do that, I'd prefer, 15 in the base, because that would also help the bonus. And a sign-on would be good because I'm going to have to buy some new suits because I want to look fresh, right? Something like that. Like, you do your best. And then what happens is they do it or not. I mean, I coached a woman who was a stay-at-home mom, 50 years old, had been out of work for a while and had one son and got in the boot camp, and she went to Apple and she got in the boot camp. She's like, Andy, this is great. My boss hunted. I got an interview. I got through this. I prepped her for one of her interviews. She's okay. They want to give me an offer. They socialized the offer, and it's like 100,000 more than I make right now, like most recently. But it's got all this stuff in it. I don't really understand all that. It's got a base, it's got bonuses, it's got stock, it's got this, it's got that. So I look at the offer. I have to get a recap of what's happening because I have to gauge the temperature and the appetite, I think, and then what she's going to do, what the position is, where the value is. Apple's got enough money, you got to make an argument or whatever. But I have to take their temperature because I have to understand what the likelihood is that they would give more. So I said to her, all right, you got this 200 base and this 50K bonus and this 100 stock or whatever it was. It was like, I don't know, 350 or something like that. And I said, okay, I think they could go 100 more. 100 more. So you want 450. And not like we're on the Zoom, right? And I could see the look in her face, like, you gotta be kidding me. I'm like, maybe 150. She's like, Andy, I can't lose this job. I said, you're not gonna lose this job. So because the way we're gonna ask this is, okay, so we get the grid in order, we go back to the table. She says, okay, I was so nervous that I only asked for 50 more. That's fine. That's fine. I want you to have do whatever you feel comfortable. Then she said, then they came back an hour later with 75 more because they wanted me to be happy. And that's what good companies do. And so, and a lot of organizations will actually do that if you can make a lucid argument. And so, like I said, going back to some of my earlier commentary, is you never assume what they can pay. Now, I understand her reluctance because a single mom who'd been out of work a year or whatever it was with a 10-year-old or 11-year-old or whatever he was. I mean, it was like, there's a lot to that, but there's a lot of money out there. Actually, I want you to write this down. I'm not kidding you. I know you're going to think Coach Andy's nuts. Whatever you got, wherever your notes are, I want you to write down, I'm a money magnet. I'm a money magnet. You know what? I think I'm a money magnet. I want you to think you're a money magnet. And believe me, the more you start thinking it and the more you start saying it, and don't get me wrong, you can't just wish it like, the money's going to fall off the tree. But I need you to start thinking there's plenty of money out there, because there is. And the more you think it, the greater the likelihood it will happen. But if you're thinking, I don't have enough, your mind doesn't know how to process the word no. It's just going to keep giving you what you're feeding it. So I feed myself nothing but kind, gentle thoughts and motivating thoughts. And that's what it gives, that's what the universe gives me back. I'm not kidding. There's plenty of money out there. There's plenty of people out there who can give you jobs.